Well, it's accurate. Promised rain. That it would come. I said definitely Wednesday, if it's today. Um, and definitely I took your word. So I went out and got some seedlings and replaced. And after I planted them, no water running, I said, why? This is a act of faith. And when I went out while I was on the last two seedlings planting, the rain came down and drenched me. So, so I said,
oh yes, good, good.
yes,
But in that general vicinity, got the downpours. Um, a lot of Antigua did not receive rain. That
okay.
that rain was actually confined to the western half of the island, and Barbuda also got there on the western half. You'd be surprised to know that as small as we are, we generate those type of what we call localized showers. And it's amazing for some of them, and for some of the practitioners who are in the field, such as I am, especially those in the United States, when I said that we have these sort of isolated cells, they sometimes marvel that we do have that isolated type of rainfall. Yeah, you do. I mean, it does happen on certain occasions. Yes, it does.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Mhm.
some person in Freetown would be saying the weatherman predicted rain today, but nothing came. But rain
Nothing
came in
came.
another area in the island. So yes. So
And
what's our weather
and
outlook for
some
the day?
Right. Well, what actually happened today was the fact that the winds fell off. When we have active winds that are blowing throughout, then it tends to what we call mix the low-level atmosphere. It mixes up. But when we don't have the wind, then the heat is stagnant at one particular spot. And you know that heat, when it's generated, generates convective motion within the atmosphere. So when that heating takes place over St. John's and the western half of the islands, when the clouds can just billow up and just grow and grow because we don't have that wind that is pushing them along. They just sit right there and they just grow and grow and grow. And with the little bit of moisture that's around, they can present a little drenching. That's what took place today. And it's what we call a localized phenomenon when we call daytime heating. Now, you would really want to know exactly what's really going to take place in the next couple of hours. Well, tonight, because of the winds slackening off, we are likely to see that the cloudiness and the showers that we had today gradually dissipates into a more clearer regime into tonight. And with no wind, we might have a cooler temperatures, particularly in the central parts of Antigua. Along the coastline, it might be a slightly warmer. Going on into tomorrow, well, I just checked my colleague's forecast, which is off the page, and he suggested that the troughiness will be around, and as such, tomorrow might yield the very same thing, albeit it might be a little bit more widespread. So I'm hoping for a little bit more showery activity going on tomorrow.
So the
Yeah.
garden, the farms, they're gonna be looking bright and energized as we look into the weekend.
Well, yeah, hopefully, if the rain does materialize the way how we are looking at it, with the troughiness around, etc., for tomorrow, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe less of Friday, then we can see a little bit more of the daytime cloudy periods, and yeah, definitely with some
So
showers here
what
and there.
amount? What is the level of rainfall we're expecting?
Well, if I'm supposed to check the local forecast, which I just did a while ago, my colleague Orvin suggested that we can see in the region of half an inch of rainfall in some places. So
That's good
that is
news.
definitely that's good news, but we really want it where it really matters, particularly on the eastern, where we can catch some of that water in Portworks Dam. But when
Right.
it's falling to the western side, then we wonder where it might go for catchment, But notwithstanding that, little rainfall here or there certainly will recharge the systems for some people.
Okay. So there's nothing for us to worry about out there otherwise, though. No development, no tropical wave.
Okay, sure. Let's talk tropical weather outlook. Well, where Cristobal continues to be a rain event for the Central Plains in the United States. That's not necessarily a factor for us, so we're not going to go delve right into that. The
Right.
National Hurricane Center placed just a 10% on an area of what we call subtropical storm development outside just to the east of Bermuda. Now, they have just given it a 10%, which means to say that in the next 5 days, they don't expect it to amount to much. They expect that the atmosphere and the atmospheric conditions will not necessarily lend itself to any significant formation. And even though it did in terms of its formation, then it would not do anything at all to us. But suffice it to say, that's another area that have just popped up on the radar. But at this time, the chances of it develop is not significant. Now, turning our attention right out into the open Atlantic, east of the islands, right out to Africa, that hot spot continues to be rather quiet for right now, so you can breathe a little bit more easier. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. So so that shot which you just pulled up a while ago, brother, it's actually showing the wider Atlantic Ocean that is that spawns from Africa right over to the Eastern Caribbean. And just to the north, you see a little comma-shaped feature. That is the area that is being monitored for right now, but that is not forecast to do much. So right up to Africa, you see some brownness coming off of Africa. That's what we call Saharan dust. Some of that Saharan dust will make its way over the Eastern Caribbean, over the Atlantic Ocean, and it's indicative of a drier atmosphere. Closer home, we are seeing some patches of low-level clouds, but nothing that's organized now. So in terms of tropical storm formation, tropical activity, especially that will impact us, that's on the no-no for right now. The Atlantic, Eastern tropical Atlantic remains rather quiet. We can breathe.
Okay, so we're still good. Today I heard that they mentioned that the hurricane shelters have been named, identified, and I think it could have been a little earlier, but it's still early nonetheless. So for us to ascertain that they'll be suitable. I don't know how they will accommodate the many people who generally use the shelters, considering the social distancing policy that's in place. So that's something else we'll have to look at. And probably maybe tomorrow or deeper into the week, when we have some more time, we can look at those things that we need to prepare for and plan for as we head into the storm. You can wrap up.
That's so correct, because we are right, and we are right now looking at getting into the early part of the hurricane season. And the hurricane season for right now continues to be, well, it got off to a great start. It has now gone into a lull. We have spoken about 3 main areas of preparedness: understanding you, understanding the hazard, and understanding your vulnerability. Yeah, definitely, those are some of the things that you would really want to delve into a little bit more. Come tomorrow, we'll go into the plan. Let's talk a little bit more what the plan entails and what is planned. And we will certainly delve into that as we continue to keep the nation, keep our members abreast. So the changes that take place during the course of the hurricanes. We are in earlier stages yet, and we are just about to get into July, get on into August and September. Those are the key months, the key kicking months. And for right now, we can rest easy, but it's certainly the time that you certainly want to get prepared.
So thank you again this afternoon for bringing to us our weather update. Some persons are looking forward to it. I know that as we go deeper and deeper into the hurricane season, the following will get greater and greater, and the demands will be greater. Your phone may ring a little more after
That's okay.
the presentation.
That's okay. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve, man.
We're happy to have this service. There are people moving around. There are less radios, believe it or not, around. People follow everything on their smartphone, from Facebook